Hey guys, 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸 minds, head minds. But anyways, thanks for hopping on. In this video, I'm going to talk about 90 days to greatness. What did I say? 90 days to greatness, a step-by-step plan to your best season. So I'm gonna just unlock for you. Hey Terry, thanks for hopping on. I'm gonna unlock for you a step-by-step plan to have your best season for whatever goal it is that you have. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. So I already said my name, 𝐸𝐸𝐲𝐻𝐸. Everybody calls me Shin though. Okay, what I do is I empower people to start a profitable digital business from home. That's what I do. So anyways, what I'm going to talk about, I'm a reverse engineer, how to have your best season. And, you know, you can apply what I'm talking about to help you manifest and bring to life any goal. Rather be you want to, in this season, this next 90 days, you want to have the most rockinest body that you want. You know, rather it's that you want to have the best finances that you want. Rather it's you want to have the best business that you've ever had before. Rather it's you want to have the best relationship with your spouse that you've ever had before. You can do all those things if you have a step-by-step plan. So let's dive right into it. The first thing that you need to do to have your best season is you got to start with having belief that it's going to be your best season. Your best season starts with belief. Do you believe that this is going to be your best season? We're going to talk about that if you don't, right? Starting with believing that it's going to be your best season. All right. The next thing is determine where you want to be and why. Okay, where do you want to be and why? Okay, so start with that. You know, get a piece of paper and write down where you want to be. Okay, so I'm always talking from a business space because that's what I do, right? So if you know that, let's say you want to have your first $1,000 month, right? Then you need to write that down. This month I want to have my first $1,000 month. And for the next 90 days, I want to at least make $1,000 a month. Then write that down. Now, why? Why do you want to make $1,000 a month? What's in it for you? And it has to be, again, going back to manifesting. It has to be a feeling tied. Stephen, thanks for hopping on. There has to be a feeling tied to it. What do you want to feel? You know, I want to feel empowered. I want to feel security. I want to feel like when I open my bank account, you know, I feel secure, right? What is it that you want to feel? Okay, so again, the first step is making sure that you believe. And the second step is determine where you want to be and why. All right, the next step actually is to determine where you are and write it down. And be real. Where are you right now? So for example, again, I said, if you want to make $1,000 a month, you might have to get real. Right now, I'm not making no money. Right? If you're a beginner, right, or you haven't been consistent, you got to get real with yourself. Part of having your best season is you have to get real about where you are. So you've already wrote where you want to be and why. Now examine where you currently are. Where are you? Right now I'm in a place I'm not consistent. Right now I'm in a place where, you know, whatever there's some skills I need to develop. Right now, you know, let's say we're talking about weight loss. Right now I stress eat a lot. Right now, I do this. Right now, I do this. Like, where are you right now? Right now, I'm in debt. Right now, my relationship sucks. Right now, I'm overwhelmed. Whatever it is, where are you right now? Write that down. All right? Now, the next step is for you to assess what mental discipline and resource roadblocks that have been in your way or are in your way. Okay, let me repeat that one more time. Assess what mental up here, discipline, right? Because discipline is a big piece of why people do or do not achieve their goals. Discipline, right? You say you want to lose weight, but you don't go to the gym. You say you want to lose weight, but your plate is overstuffed. You say you want to have a profitable business, but you don't have office hours. You say you want to have a profitable business, but you don't have a blueprint, right? So these are like things that you have to write down the mental, roadblocks that are there. You have to write down and be honest. What are the discipline roadblocks that are there? Because discipline is a big part of manifesting what you want in your season. Okay. And then resources, right? So for example, let's say going back to the example of having your first $1,000 month, right? Then maybe you need one of the resources that you need that you might not have at the time is you need some training, right? So then write that down. We're going to talk about how to get to where you need to be, but write it down. What is it that you need to do? Okay. So again, mental discipline and resource roadblocks. And this is really the phase where you start taking responsibility. This is the responsibility step where you're doing an assessment and you're taking responsibility. Because see, a lot of people won't take responsibility. They'll be like, oh, well, life is the way it is and there's nothing I could do about it. I've been given these cards and, I'm not a good whatever and I'll never be that. Instead of taking responsibility and say, you know what, there was some bad decisions that got me to this point. There's been some laziness that got me to this point. There's been some lack of discipline, some lack of knowledge, some whatever that got me to this point, right? There's been some, bad stuff happens sometimes to people. There's been some things that happened to me and I dwelled on it, right? So this is where you take responsibility for it and you say, okay, I acknowledge those are some of the roadblocks. And I'm going to start making a plan to make my next season better. Okay. So yeah, you're going to write down what your mental discipline and resource roadblocks are. You're going to take responsibility. Take responsibility right now. Now you're going to make a plan to overcome those. So now that you wrote a lot, the hardest part of having your best season is writing down, what you haven't had, what you need to know, what resources, things like that. But then you need to write out a plan to overcome those things. You can't just say, well, I don't have enough this and I don't have enough that. You have to write down a plan to overcome it. All right, the next thing is to be clear on what you must invest. To be clear on what you must invest. Whatever goal that you have, so if you're trying to create a season of overflow, you're trying to create your best season, you have to write down what you have to invest. So let's go back to the having your first $1,000 month example. Do you have a vehicle for you to make $1,000 a month? Right? Do you have a vehicle to make yourself $1,000 a month? And that's at that point you'll have to be real. Because, I always use the example of $25 products. They're nice, they're cool. But how many of those would you have to sell to get $1,000 a month? And are you really invested and committed to do that? Versus if you had something else that would position you to do even better, right? Or if you wanted to lose weight, right? You're going to have to invest at least an hour a day to go to the gym. So at this stage, you have to write down, to reach my goal of losing weight, I have to block out an hour a day. That's what I have to invest. To have $1,000 a month, I have to have a vehicle and I have to invest in that vehicle to make me profits. So you have to be clear on what you must invest to have your best season. People want their best season with no investment. You can't have your best season with no investment, right? And that's how it is. The universe doesn't just give you things without you investing, right? You want a better relationship. How many hours are you willing to invest in your partner to have your best relationship? What is your investment? Rather it be knowledge and skill sets, rather it be time, rather it be money. What is your investment? That tells the universe what it's going to return to you based on what you do first. Okay? The next step is to measure your commitment level and don't lie. There's times that, like, I set goals. I'm like, shit, you lying. You ain't going to do this. You ain't going to do this. So it's like sometimes you have to be real about your commitment level and don't lie. Don't go out there and say, oh yeah, I'm going to be a millionaire, and you don't have a millionaire work ethic. Measure your commitment level and stop lying to yourself. Okay? The next step is to have your best season, your best next 90 days, is you got to have an accountability partner. I like to call it who gonna check you boo partner. Who gonna check you boo? And that person has to be in partnership with you. Partnership meaning that there's a mutual exchange. That person has to be invested in your success as you are in theirs. And I'm always clear about that person is not necessarily your sponsor in whatever business that you're in, talking from a business mindset. Okay? For a lot of reasons, right? You need to have, like, for example, my accountability partner is in a totally different business that I'm in. But we sit down we just moved ours to Saturdays, but usually it's Sundays. Every Sunday or Saturday now, we sit down for 1 to 2 hours and we check in. How did our week go so far? What do we need to do next week to get to the next step? So we move from goal to goal to goal with each other. We hold each other accountable. She'd be like, girl, well, you said you was going to do that. Did you do that yet? You know, we are accountability partners. So you need to have somebody in your circle that's going to hold you accountable. And if you don't have that, then you need to hire one. Yes, you can hire people. They're called coaches. You need an accountability partner in your circle. I have coaches that help me get to the next level, right? So it's like you have to have an accountability partner. Let's use the example of being in weight loss. For those of you who've been with me for a long time, you guys have seen my journey where I lost 75 pounds in a year. Right? I gained a lot of that back at this point. But why did I do that? Because I stopped having an accountability partner. So when I had an accountability partner, every week I went to my meetings. Every week. That was my accountability partner. The scale there at that meeting was my accountability. And guess what? By being accountable every week to my journal, to my group, to whatever, I got results. You can't get results without any accountability, because as humans, we are not designed to, we're just humans. We'd be like, oh, I think I'm going to take a break. And then that break turns into a year. And you say, I still never accomplished that goal I said I was going to do. Accountability is a big piece of manifesting the best 90 days that you want. All right. So you need to have an accountability partner, and it has to be a partnership. Okay. Now, one reason why it has to be a partnership, and sometimes you just need to get you a coach. It has to be a partnership because a lot of times people want to project on their accountability partner or their sponsor or whoever things that they're not willing to take responsibility for, including their laziness, right? They're like, oh, well, I didn't succeed because of blah. When the reality is your success is 100% dependent on you. You want to improve your finances is 100% dependent on what you do or don't do. Okay, so it has to be a partnership. I posted yesterday on my wall, my accountability partner, or my mentor actually, and coach. Whenever I start getting complacent, she gives me a new goal, and sometimes it scares me. It lights a fire under me. But you know what? It moves me to the next step. She never lets me get comfortable. And I also said that if your mentor does not light a fire under you, they don't like you. So you got to get people who are in partnership with you, that they understand the vision of where you want to go and what you want to accomplish and why you want to accomplish it. And they're not going to let you not accomplish it. And sometimes that might mean that they have to be honest with you and be like, you need to get your stuff together. You being lazy, you being complacent, you're not on task, you're not on focus. You need to set new goals. That's what a partnership does. Okay? The next step is to set tiny benchmarks. That feeling of failure when you're setting a 90-day goal, a lot of times it comes because people set these huge goals. I want to have a $5,000 month, and then when they don't reach it in their first month, then they're like, oh, well, I'm a failure. Oh, I'll never be this. when what they should have did was set a first day goal. So let's reverse. Let's say you want to have $1,000 a month. Your first goal is not to say I want to have $1,000 a month. Your first goal is to say that I want to have my first sale. So that's your first goal. Once you get your first goal, you scratch that off. You met your first milestone and benchmark. Okay? Now your next goal is to keep building that. Maybe your next goal is to have a $200 week, right? Then you just keep adding on that until you get to $1,000. But you have to set tiny benchmarks first. So what I like to do is, to reach my longer goal, I like to have day 1 goals, day 7 goals, day 14 goals, day 21 goals, day 30 goals, day 60, and day 90 goals. Okay? That's what I like to do, so that every step along the way, I'm setting tiny benchmarks and giving myself credit for the tiny things that I've done. Okay? And the other thing that helps is, in addition to setting benchmarks, is to make sure that when you're setting goals, that they're not all results based, that they're activity based. So for example, my goal every day is to stick to some few simple steps: lead generation, content creation, and follow-up. That's it. As a business owner, those are the only 3 things you have to do. Really. So, my goal is to be consistent with those steps. And when I'm consistent with those steps, right, the benchmarks start getting met. So let's say that you wanted to lose weight. Your ultimate goal was to lose weight, right? Maybe your goal was to lose, in the next 90 days, you want to lose 30 pounds, right? So now you break that down for your first month. You want to lose 10 pounds in your first month. But what will be your results-based or your activity-based task? You need to go to the gym every day. You need to get some smaller plates. You need to measure what's going on your plate, right? So it's like activity gets you to the results, but people want the results, but they're not doing the activity. Okay? The next step is to have a plan to stay encouraged. Have a plan to stay encouraged. Okay? Because we get discouraged. Stuff happens. We get discouraged. So how I stay encouraged is, every morning I listen to Lisa Nichols, because Lisa Nichols feeds my spirit. She feeds my spirit. So I listen to her every morning. I also have people that they're in my notebook, and I will pick up the phone and call them, when things are in my head, because sometimes I need to get out my own head. And I just pick up the phone. They're not necessarily accountability partner. They're like my support networks. And I'll pick up the phone and I'll call them like, girl, I'm feeling yada, 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 yada. Help me get out of this. And sometimes they just be real, right? So make sure you already have a plan to stay encouraged. And with that, I will say this. I already talked earlier on about responsibility in the journey, in the path. Everyone who starts with you on the path won't finish with you on the path, and that's okay. And if you know early on, you know that early on, you'll be okay. Because there's, like, I'll give you a case in point. Years ago, when I was on my weight loss journey, there was a lady who, she was like, oh, I'm gonna walk with you every day. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. And after like a week, she stopped walking with me. I didn't just give up on my goal because she stopped walking with me. I kept walking. And guess what? A year later, she was asking me how to lose weight. When if she just kept walking with me, she would have been where I was. So don't get discouraged with people who don't keep walking with you. I don't worry about them. Keep doing you. All right? All right, so have a plan to stay encouraged, all right? And then the next thing is, this is the last one, which is have an evaluation appointment for your goals. Have an evaluation appointment. So my evaluation appointment for my goals are my weekly accountability partner check-in sessions with my accountability partner. I also monthly meet with a group of other business women at the beginning of the month and the end of the month. And we set our goals for the month. Okay. And to me, that's important. You know, so maybe, again, you know, if you want to have your first $1,000 month, right? I'm going to check in with my accountability partner during my weekly accountability check-in. And I'm going to say, hey, this is where I am on that goal. You know, this is where I am. And this is, you know, I got 3 weeks left. This is what I still got to do. Right. So I'm going to do that. You know, at the beginning of the month, I set my goals and map out a plan. Okay. At the end of the month, I'm going to evaluate where I was with reaching my goals. And that's not an opportunity for you to be hard on yourself. It's not like, oh, God, I didn't reach that goal. Because the thing is to evaluate why you didn't reach that goal. That's the biggest thing, is to evaluate why, right? Now that you've done it, now you start setting your game plan for the next month. All right, so if you didn't reach it, why? Now you have a plan of attack for the following month, and you just keep going. And you give yourself credit for what you did accomplish. Maybe you didn't reach $1,000, but you made 500. You like, you know what? I made 500 this month. Pat on the back. Next month, let's keep moving. Now, if next month you still didn't reach that goal, then you need to reevaluate again your commitment. Are you committed to that goal? Do you need more skill sets to reach that goal? Do you need help? Do you need accountability? Do you need training? Like, what do you need if you didn't reach it in your second month? All right. Oh, thank you, Patricia. So like that, these are the little things, you know, so I come from an educational background, and I love, just helping other people like learn the things that I've learned, on my path, you know, help people understand how to create a better life for themselves. And creating a better life for yourself begins with taking responsibility, creating an action plan, keep moving, and build something for yourself. You know what I mean? So those are the simple steps of just creating whatever life it is that you want, and consistency too, right? But that's it. I hope that you found some value in this. If you did, drop a 1 if you're watching this for the first time, or 2 if you're watching this on replay. And if you're watching this in YouTube land, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and check out the comment section below. I'll see you guys in the next live. Bye, guys. Oh, thanks, Malachi. I'll see you guys later.